So today's Late Night Thoughts video is on the newest GFX 100S. I'm Richard and welcome to Zappy Productions. And Fujifilm recently rumored that the newest GFX 100S will be coming out early this year, in the early quarter of the year or early half of the year. And the price is pretty awesome. I mean, it's going to come in at 6,000 USD. That is a good 4,000 USD lesser than the GFX 100. Can you imagine that? The Fujifilm GFX 100 came out with $10,000 price tag. The Fujifilm GFX 100S is going to come out with a $6,000 price tag. That is the price of an EOS R5. Imagine buying a GFX 100, you can buy an R5. The thing is, the GFX 100S is going to be a repackaged GFX 100 without the bottom grip and probably losing something here. I don't know what they will lose, but it will keep the IBIS, a smaller version of it, and of course the 100 megapixel sensor. Now, will a smaller IBIS equate to a lousier IBIS or a better IBIS? Nobody knows, because that is a technology improvement. Maybe it will be the same, maybe it will be better, but we won't know till the actual product comes out. But one thing for sure, it's going to be a smaller size version of the GFX 100, similar to the GFX 50S, without the extra grip below, which is going to be a very, I would say, as hand-holdable package compared to the GFX 100 here I have. So the GFX 100S is shaping up to be a very exciting body. In terms of specifications, it's going to be, as I said earlier, 100 megapixel sensor with IBIS, and pretty much everything else would be probably the same as the GFX 100, which means relatively modern AF system, 5 FPS, and then the operation speed, everything should be quite similar unless a new processor is out by then. The thing is, the camera is still relatively expensive. Yes, it is a good R5 lesser, or should I say 4,000 USD lesser, but still it's a $6,000 camera, which makes it more than 2.1K over the EOS R5. A significant difference, really, between a 3.9K versus a $6,000 camera. And if you compare to something like the A7R4, which is I think 3.2K, it is a good nearly 2.8K difference, an even larger gap that you can easily buy another high-end lens to couple with the camera itself. So in my opinion, who is the GFX 100S for? I don't think it's for the GFX 100 user. I mean, if you are a GFX 100 user, you won't be downgrading yourself. Or should I say, there is no reason to change unless you want a smaller body. Unless the GFX 100S is different, you won't change. If you are a GFX 50 and 50R user, yes, the GFX 100 will probably excite you, especially if you just bought the GFX 50 and 50R just to hold it till the newer 100 megapixel comes out. There'll be many people in that category who are looking to upgrade from the GFX 50 into the GFX 100S, and I think that is a major market for Fujifilm, the upgrade party. Now, the other two parties that you can probably look at is the full frame users and the medium format users. First, let's talk about the easier one, the medium format users. If you are a medium format user and you are interested in the GFX system, you would have already bought it, because the 100 is very affordable versus the other medium format system. Really, the 100 is extremely affordable versus the Hasselblads and versus the Phase 1s. But I think people who don't want to move the GFX system is because there is no leaf shutter here. The lenses, the selection itself is still very limited. There is no tilt shift lens on the GFX system natively. And there is not many lenses of choice in the GFX system itself. So medium format users who want to actually move in the GFX system would have already moved by now. Now, then the other one, which is the party that I think GFX, the Fujifilm company, is trying to target for people who upgrade, is not their X series user, it's probably their full frame users. Not their full frame users, but I should say the Canon full frame users, the Nikon full frame users, and the Sony full frame users. Now, that market is huge. It is a very big market today, and is where the money lies. However, if you ask me, it is very hard for them to upgrade to the GFX 100S. And I have a few reasons, or should I say, I have a few thought process of why is it going to be hard. Firstly, is that the GFX 100S, if it's using the same components as the GFX 100, the operation speed will not be great. People who have used full frame or get used to full frame, when they use the GFX 100 series, they will feel that it's slow, and if not, unbearable at times. That's how some of my friends felt. The next thing is autofocus. The GFX 100 autofocus is not really fantastic. It is modern, but definitely not great. Not as great, or even not as good as maybe even the Z series cameras easily. So, you know, anyone who have been spoiled by full frame autofocus, when they move the GFX system, they find it really hard to utilize the autofocus system. It'll probably be a very static affair, and over time people may just get unhappy about it, especially if you are a full frame user and expecting a full frame performance on a GFX camera. The GFX 100S, if it's using the same component as the GFX 100, will probably not deliver that. And lastly is the lens selection. The lens selection in full frame is fantastically huge. Anywhere from really cheap lens to really expensive lens to exotic lens such as TSE, 2x macro are all available in full frame. But in the GFX world, yes, you can adapt those lenses, but you're going to get vignetting, soft corner, black corners, which defeats the purpose. I mean, you are trying to maximize the 100 megapixel sensor. That's the reason why you buy a camera that is worth 6,000 or 10,000 USD. But if you adapt, you're not going to utilize all the peripherals, which is probably like, I don't know, 30% of the frame. Why not just buy a full frame then and then maximize the corners there? If you are looking to use a GFX system, personally, I always recommend to use GF lenses because they maximize the entire frame. If you are not going to maximize the entire frame, then the question is, why use GFX? Why not get the A7R4 that you can maximize the entire frame and therefore get an overall sharper image because every pixel is well utilized? While the GFX 100, you'll probably lose the corners, which defeats the purpose. So the lens selection in full frame is so huge, and people who are coming from full frame, who wants to migrate to the GFX system, will have to look deeply into the lens selection. Is there a lens that attracts them? Is there a lens that is usable for them? If there's no lens, then the GFX 100S is not a viable choice. And really, it goes down to why would a full frame user upgrade to a GFX 100S? And I only can think of one, and I always say it's the same thing, where image quality is their number one priority. Everything else is second place. And in those cases, yes, you can upgrade to the GFX 100S and you will enjoy it. But if image quality is just one of your many parameters in a successful photography business or successful photography hobby or whatever you want to call it, then I say the GFX 100S still has a long way to go. And it's not because the camera is very expensive or anything. It's just that there are so many things that will hinder people who are going to upgrade or considering to upgrade from full frame into the GFX system itself. So overall, if you ask me, the 100S is a fantastic new camera. I'm a GFX user. I think it's a fantastic camera. Will I buy it? No. Unless they upgrade the processor. If they upgrade the processor, yes, I'll be first in queue. But if they don't upgrade the processor, it's the same GFX 100, just shave off the grip itself. I don't find a reason to do it. And people who are using the GFX 50 and 50R will be definitely looking forward to that camera itself. And people who are maybe in the medium format world, who have used a medium format camera for 5 over years and looking to get a cheaper, smaller, lighter one, maybe will go to the GFX 100S instead. Maybe, really, I mean, that is a possible market. But the full frame users, I still think that it's going to be hard. And the difference in price can probably buy you a high-end lens such as a 50mm RF or maybe 2 high-end Sigma Arts, which will optimize and maximize a full frame sensor. So, you know, it's still a toss-up. And I think that the newer price tag, the newer capability, 100 megapixel sensor, all are great. It's just that I don't think the GFX market will improve or get bigger just because of the 100S. I still think that Fujifilm need to work on the lenses. They need to work on operations. They need to work on autofocus speed to really make the GFX system truly a viable alternative to full frame. And it can be your sole camera. I just want to say a little bit thing in this video itself. I'm a GFX 100 user for a long time. I use the GFX 100 for 3 over years. I occasionally do some commercial work, events, pre-wedding, actual day, baby photo shoots, portraiture. A lot of times I will choose not to use the GFX 100 because the operations, the general usability in real world high pressure situation where your clients are looking at you and expecting output, I find the GFX 100 is a little bit hard at times because things are just so slow with the camera. And a lot of time, especially for events and wedding, people are not going to stand there for 3 seconds for you to take the photos. And that is where really I think the 100S will suffer a lot in the sense that it can't be your only camera. So yeah, you probably have to have another full frame or another APS-C just to accomplish those simple tasks that makes money. The task that doesn't make money, the GFX 100S will be fantastic. Unless you are a landscape or architecture photographer and paid for it, then maybe yes, the GFX 100S would be a fantastic investment for you. And that's about it for today. I just want to share my thoughts on the GFX 100S. I mean, it looks like such a great camera, but if you ask me, Fujifilm should have come out a GFX 100 Mark II and charge $11,000 USD for it, but come with the new X Pro 5 processor and has double the AF speed, double the capability, uses the latest CF Express, so that the whole camera feels extremely modern. That's what I think the GFX system should go for. But that's my opinion. Because either way, the GFX system is so expensive, you are going to look at spending at least $10,000 just to get it running properly. So why bother saving money? A lot of the GFX 50S and the 100S user will be buying the battery grip, which costs $600 USD. Which means that the price difference between this and that will be only $3,000 USD. Is it a big deal? Yeah, it's still a full frame camera worth, but it's talking about 7,000 versus 10,000 now. So really, I thought that Fujifilm should capitalize on the premium, the high quality of the GFX 100 and come up with the GFX 100 Mark II or something like that with a way better autofocus system, a way better operations, and maybe come out with more lenses just to attract people to the system. But that being said, because the GFX 50S is really old, I can understand why the 100S is a necessity. Who will want to go and buy a 4 years old camera at $5,000? So yes, the 100S is imminent. It is unavoidable, but I think Fujifilm still has a lot of catch up to do to make the GFX system truly viable as a system that most consumers can consider if you are looking for a high-end camera system for the purpose of hobby or if not commercial work. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. And do like and subscribe. Just remember, like and subscribe because I do hope more people will share some opinions with me. Write your comments below too. I love it. I love to respond to comments. Bye-bye.